Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I am Tahir Salam. It's great to have you join us again. All right, this is what the show looks like. Starting off, of course, with the Nigerian Professional Football League on match day 8. We're doing a comprehensive preview of all those games starting from today.
And of course, you'll be having some games live. Rangers at Dakar will be live on MPFL TV, and also other games to watch out for today. Nasarawa and Eyimba will also get us talking. Also on the program, Southampton again, 9 again. Just last season, they were beaten 9, same scoreline by Leicester City. And of course, Hasenso had a turnaround because they didn't go a relegation. They ended up finishing in a very comfortable position. But right now, it happened again, a red card. And of course, the ruthless Red Devils just had to rout this Saints.
Yes, you can say that again. Ruthless Red Devils, poor Saints. Too bad. Bad and evil over good. Doesn't make for good reading at all. Anyways, I will come back to that game later on the show. We're still talking on Sport This Morning. This time around, that guy on your screen, Fred Van Vliet, he has now made the most points in franchise history. That's for the Toronto Raptors. 54 big points last night against the Orlando Magic.
He said it was only going to be a matter of time because anytime he tried, maybe gets closer to it, the man, the Rosa, will give him a call and say, okay, what are you doing? You're so weak. It's just 54, just 52. And now he decided to add 2 to that record that was set by the man, the Rosa, for Raptors.
All right, talk about wherever you are, Fred Van Vliet. This guy just a few years ago went undrafted in the NBA draft, and look at where he is now. It's just remarkable. Story. I will come back to Fred shortly, but let's go through the other games that were played last night and early this morning in the NBA. Of course, starting off with the matchup between the Raptors and the Magic, 123-108. Elsewhere was the Clippers and the Nets. That was the biggest game of the night, and it was the Nets, Brooklyn, winning by 4 points. We'll come back to that game shortly as well. Other games, the Pacers 134-116 over the Memphis Grizzlies. That's the end of their 7-game winning streak. That's for Memphis. The Blazers defeated the Washington Wizards 132-121. The Wizards are once again returning to losing ways. The Pistons and the Jazz ended 117-105 in favor of the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz are back to winning ways again. And last but not the least, it was the Celtics 111-107 over the Golden State Warriors, despite the best efforts of Steph Curry.
38 points, 11 rebounds.
Doesn't really matter. Anyways, let's quickly talk about Fred Van Vliet in a match against the Orlando Magic. I set the franchise record with 54 points and also made a career best 11 3-pointers against the Orlando Magic. So that's like a triple record for this guy because, like I said, he's also scored the most points by an undrafted player in the NBA. That record used to belong to Moses Malone. It now belongs to Fred Van Vliet. And we saw a taste of what this guy could do in the finals a couple of years ago. It was very, very decent. He's got paid now, big money, and he is actually
living up to it. And, you know, the record was not just having that 11, but the fact they had 11 of 14. which is really great. I mean, how many players can do that? Then he went 17 of 23 from the field also. So on that day, he was just unplayable. So it was a remarkable performance by him and all that. The record, as you mentioned earlier, there was 52. The man setting it for a long time ago. But then he was able to become the first player in NBA history to have 50-plus points, 10-plus three-pointers made, and 3-plus blocks, and 3-plus steals in a game.
So it wasn't just scoring.
It wasn't just scoring, yeah, in all ways.
The outcome of the game,
yeah.
You know, all of us. Stuff to start sheet, as they say in basketball. And 9 of 9 from the free throw line as well. It was just remarkable on night.
It was.
I was on fire, and they couldn't stop him. And that's why we're talking about Fred Van Vliet today. Cecilia, what this tells you is you got to bet on yourself in this thing called life. It was undrafted. You know, when you're undrafted, it's very easy for you to just give up. You know, give up, lick your wounds, and and feel down on your luck and all. But he didn't do that.
No, he didn't.
Kept on grinding and grinding and grinding to the point where he is
right now.
He is a champion already. Of course, he's going to be an all-star most likely as well. So
he will get picked.
Inspirational story for the young guys coming up, and that perhaps might not get drafted in the NBA drafts.
Just keep working hard, and then before you know, your name will be mentioned along the likes of the greats like Michael Jordan. Imagine if you're mentioning point guards that have 50 plus points right now, you definitely mention him, because we know what Michael Jordan did in April 1987 when he had those records of 50 plus points, 3 plus blocks, 3 plus steals, and all that. So he's just in that class right now.
That's right. Take it about wherever you are, Fred Van Vliet. All right, then let's move on with the show. We're still talking the NBA this time around. Let's talk about the big matchup for the Knights, the Clippers and the Nets. For the Nets, they were champion of the beats.
Of course.
Looking forward to the opportunity of testing themselves against the
big
best
boys
team in the NBA. Yeah, the big boys in the league. And they got the opportunity early this morning against Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and the gang from LA. And after 48 minutes, it was 124 to 120 in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn really going hard in that particular game. Of course, Kyrie Irving was the star of the show, scoring a season-high 39 points, including 8 straight in the fourth quarter. Of course, KD wasn't left out, 28 points, while James Harden scored 23 points, 14 assists, and grabbed 11 boards.
So 50th career triple-double for James Harden.
So these guys are starting to, coming good,
sharing the points and all
gelling. It's still early, but the more games they play, the better they'll become. And we saw a sample of that yesterday, where all three scored all the points in a decisive 13-0 spurt. And of course, that went a long way in helping them get that victory. For the Clippers, it was Kawhi leading the way with 33 points, while Paul George added 26. For the Clippers came into this particular game with the NBA's best record, and have just lost for the second time in 12 games. So, good test that was passed by
the Nets.
KD, Irving, and
we're waiting for the Lakers.
Before we leave, the Nets. They're coming.
They're coming next. They're going to get there, right? Let's see what's going to happen in that one.
Before we leave the Clippers, let's just, like I said, they've had a very good start to the season, best record in the NBA, great run of form. They have a new first-year head coach in Ty Lue, who's not done too badly.
I mean, he's having a fantastic run, especially having to put all these boys together to play together, because that's always been the problem. Doc Rivers couldn't do that, especially when they collapsed in the playoffs. It was ridiculous. Let's listen to Ty Lue talking about all this.
I don't ask those questions. I just check on him every other day just to make sure he's okay. Check on his spirits, make sure he's doing good. But I don't ever really ask him when he's going to be back, because sometimes you tend to get guys to rush back and they're not really ready. So, I just check on them, and I don't really know a timetable right now. I think from day one, when we had our tour days and guys didn't complain, we talked about we want to put the work in. And, we have a good team on paper, but until you put the work in, you're really not going to get out of it anything. So I think from day one, we talked about we want to do tour days and seeing our guys healthy, and just seeing Kawhi, PG, and Lou and those guys just buy into what we're trying to do offensively. That started day one. It's going to take some getting used to, because we haven't played together. We haven't played in that system before. And, guys are starting to get used to it and get more and more comfortable. And we only can get better.
All right, that's Ty Lue, talking about Beverly, why he missed the game and all that with injury, and also their performance on the night. Okay, let's leave that and quickly talk about the top guys who put up some numbers.
Absolutely.
There's so many. 6, 7. You're trying to think, who do I pick? Who should I drop? Okay, you have to start with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
54, 3, and 2 on the night for Fred Van Vliet. Let's move on quickly to the next guy who stood out as well.
Kawhi Leonard? Okay, Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal, 37, 2, and 4. Of course, they lost the game again. The top scorer in the NBA not enjoying a great time at all in Washington. Damian Lillard as well, too, was on fire. 32, 2, and 8 on the night for the Portland Trail Blazers. in their victory over the Washington Wizards. Let's move on to the Mantas bonus of the Indiana Pacers, 32-13-5.
Filling in where Victor Oladipo left.
Exactly.
Okay.
Donovan Mitchell,
Yep, as usual.
32-6-1 for the Utah Jazz.
But they lost.
Victory over the Detroit Pistons. Okay. Yeah, they're back to winning ways. Kawhi Leonard, 33-5-5. They lost the game against the Nets.
Not surprised.
Kyrie, of course, played a big role in that loss for LA after scoring 39, grabbing 5 rebounds and just dishing out 2 assists. Steph Curry, all his efforts in vain, 38-11-8 against the Boston Celtics, but they lost that game.
All right.
All right, that's it. Those are your stand-up performers yesterday, this morning in the NBA. Let's get on with the show now.
Okay, and quickly talk about the Super Bowl. We're still doing the countdown. It's going to be on Monday. Sunday night, early hours of Monday morning, right? Yeah, that's on the 8th. But then countdown to it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers coach has been talking about Tom Brady, the fact that he's actually the missing piece. I mean, yes, they had the belief, but they needed someone to propel them and help them, get to where they are right now. And of course, just one game away from winning the Super Bowls. And Tom Brady might just be the guy that will bring it to them, because anytime he's in the final, you're sure that 43-year-old guy will just do some magical things and something special, and then he's on it.
Anyways, let's not talk too much. Let's listen to Bruce Arians, who's the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, speaking on how Tom Brady is the X factor for his team.
I think the great quarterbacks all have it. They have the ability to will themselves on other people to make sure that everybody has bought into the cause, and the cause is a ring, putting a championship in your trophy case. So Tom brings that attitude every single day, and it permeates throughout the entire locker room. I thought that was the missing piece. Then Jason did such a great job of adding pieces as we went along. And Rob, Leonard, Antonio, and other guys. Ross Cockrell has been one of the best pickups we've had the entire season. So, I thought it was possible, and that was our goal, because I knew how good a football team we had and what we were missing. And we were missing that belief that we were good enough.
Yes, they were missing the belief that they were good enough, but that's no longer the case, because they brought in 6-time Super Bowl champ Tom Brady to turn around their fortunes. The Buccaneers will be vying for their second Super Bowl title on Sunday. Like I said, that's going to be against the defending champions,
of course,
the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs led by Patrick Mahomes.
Of course, Patrick Mahomes the second, right?
Anyways, before we leave the Super Bowl build-up, let's just, on the light side, right? Prediction time, right? Yeah, because if you're better, you might want to watch this particular next clip, because Dolphin was reputed to be very good at this, has been, talking about the likely outcome of Super Bowl 55.
Today, Nicholas is going to be choosing between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, Nicholas is actually on a 6-game streak in getting his selections right. Now, that 6-game streak actually started with the big game last year, and he did choose the Kansas City Chiefs to win that game. So it's going to be really interesting today, and we're going to see what he does. Now, when we ask him to make this selection, we're simply asking him, he's going to go over and visit his friend Katie on the other side of the pool. She's going to hold both of these footballs out, and he is simply going to make his choice by touching whatever team's football with his rostrum or his mouth-like area. Alrighty, we are ready for the selection. Nicholas is heading on over, and let's see who he chooses. All right, Nicholas has made his choice, and it looks like Nicholas is predicting the Kansas City Chiefs to win the big game this year. Now, we are very excited to see the outcome of the big game, and keep in mind that Nicholas's friends have made their selections as well, and we had Winter the Dolphin rooting for the home team, and Nicholas is going to be rooting for the Chiefs. So again, we're very excited to see who wins that big game and which of the animals here at the aquarium have that prediction correct.
What more can I say other than your reputation is on the line?
Okay.
So Nicholas'
17,
reputation is on the line. You're picking the Kansas City Chiefs
defending
to
champ.
repeat as champions.
Yeah,
Again. We'll
he
see on
picked them
Monday.
last year and they won, so we'll see what's going to happen.
Fingers
Tom Brady,
crossed.
well, might just be a hard one. Okay, now let's leave all that and count down to the National Sport Festival. It's just 10 days to the National Sport Festival. February 14th. That's the date for the opening ceremony. And of course, you know, that's why the fact that Edo State government has said, look, they don't have money to host. Federal government needs to give them money. So we're waiting, waiting to see if federal government can actually churn out that money. Maybe if they don't. Well, but the states, of course, are carrying on the preparations and all that, because the last time was cancelled. I think it was just 3 days to the time and all that. So they have to like prepare up till the final moment. And today we are looking at Kwara State. And Kwara State, well, when you're talking about states that usually win the National Sports Festival, Kwara State obviously is not one of them to top the medal table and all. But then the athletes, all of them are preparing and hoping that this time around they will have a very, very competitive attendance, not just going to like maybe gather some medals, but at least rub shoulders with the likes of Delta State, Edo,
I don't know about rubbing shoulders with those states you just called, because those are the traditional powerhouses when it comes to the National Sports Festival. Anyways, but we're not going to talk too much. Let's get to listening now to the director of sports as well as one of the coaches in Kwara.
You go around the venue, you will see most of our athletes, they are training. We are so blessed in this state that even though if there is no festival, we always prepare for one tournament or the other. Because one, in Kwara State, we don't buy athletes. We concentrate on the athletes that we develop from this state. And that is why the coaches of Kwara State Sport Council continue to train our athletes. So that whether tournament, we have tournament or we don't have tournament, we are always prepared to, we are always there to train our athletes.
We are very hopeful because we are not in camp, but we are training. The training is going on very, very seriously. For more than 6-7 months, we'll be training.
Yeah.
They've been training and they're just waiting to go to those states and try and see if they can win medals for the states. Cecilia, it's good to see these athletes still just, even though there's still a bit of uncertainty, but they're just staying ready. And that's what you do as a pro. I mean, as a sportsman, you got to be ready for whenever any situation arises. And it's just great all around.
It's great all around, because at the end of the day, you can't just say because you're not certain if it's going to go or not, then you decide to, fold your arms and not do anything. But these ones are just training regularly and all that. He said for the past 7 months. So even, during the lockdown and all that, when you were not certain, they were still training. But then we need to go on a break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the English Premier League. Of course, MPFL is still there. And also the Principal's Cup will get us talking. All right, welcome back. You guys can talk to us on our Twitter handle. What do you think about the games last night? Especially how, the Red Devils were ruthless on the night and the Saints were so poor that they couldn't even get one back. For the second season in a row, they're losing by 9 goals to nothing. So Hansel has a whole lot to do. See how he can also prep these guys up again to keep going. He did it last season when they lost around October or thereabout, and of course they went on to finish well in the season. If he can also do that this season, that will be a good one for them. So talk to us about United, of course. Everyone is saying it's more like they are stating the marker that, look, they can actually compete for the Premier League title, but Manchester City is still there, and they're more like the favourites of everyone. Of course. Also tell us about the Nigerian Professional Football League, big games going down today and all that. So there's so many games. Nassau and Eimba. Rangers also want to go back to winning ways. For the last 3 games, they haven't won, but hosting Dakar might just be a way for them to bounce back. And we're still looking at Abia Warriors also. They're yet to win, and those 3 games it's been given were all draw. Goalless, goalless, goalless. Can he go back to winning ways? Where will he be playing at home this time around? Tell us about MPFL and also National Sport Festival. Are you excited about it? February 14th is the date. We're all waiting to see if it's going to go ahead. But then we'll start with the English Premier League. Before the English Premier League, of course, we'll be talking about Henry Onyeko Onyekuru. Yes, that guy scored 3 goals in 2 games. Fantastic, you say, for him in Galatasaray. But this morning, Bada Kinsley Johnson will be joining us to talk about this and so much more. Bada, good morning. It's good to have you join us on a Wednesday morning.
I know, right? Good morning, Cecilia. Morning, Tyler. Great to be on the show. Couldn't make it yesterday. Glad to be here. Tired as well, but glad to be here.
Thank you for making our time to join us this morning. Quickly, we'll talk about Henry Onyekuru. I mean, we've been talking about the fact that he needs a home, a place where he understands that, yes, whenever I'm here, I thrive a whole lot. I mean, 2 games, 3 goals, and you're looking at this guy, you're saying, yes, does that really mean Galatasaray is more like the home for him? That's what it's looking like.
There you go. That's the man of the moment after scoring the opening goal against Istanbul Başakşehir. I was in the Turkish Super League yesterday, taking his tally to just to 3 goals in 2 games for the Turkish Giants. And Bada, I know you've got a lot of time for Henry Onyekuru, and I mean, this move to Galatasaray just seems like the perfect situation for him. This is the 3rd time he's going to Turkey, and on all occasions he's hit the ground running, and he's played very, very well.
Well, Tyler,
Okay, we're having a bit of a problem with Bada's connection. We'll come back to him shortly when we fix that. So, but Cecilia, like I said, Turkey Galatasaray seems to be the perfect situation for Henry Onyekuru, which is great. But then you can now look at it from another angle and say, perhaps that's his level. Okay, couldn't play in England.
Level.
Couldn't play in England for obvious reasons.
Work permits and all that. France
couldn't cut it. But, so what is it about whenever he goes to Turkey? He just hits the ground running, playing and looking like the talents that we know he is. Is it that's his level? That's the question I wanted to ask Bada when he joins us back.
Yeah, maybe those in Monaco, actually, they needed to give him time. They're players who come into a new league they're not used to, so it's hard for them to settle. But if you play him week in, week out, maybe somehow he will. But if you don't play him week in, week out, how will he fit in? When Van de Beek was going to Manchester United, they were all happy. And now Van de Beek can't even make, the first team. So it's hard for them to, sometimes there are some players who are so good when they were in a particular club and moving into another club, they need time to actually, blend. Not every player can just hit the ground running. It's always difficult like that. But I think maybe that's his problem. If just Galatasaray can, Monaco had given him more time, I think maybe by now we will be banging in the goals. Who knows?
You've got a point there as well, because trust is very important in professional football. If the coach doesn't trust you enough, doesn't give you enough game time, it can have a negative effect on your output. And that's a situation. That was a situation with Henry. There was a coach that came in. The coach went before you know it, and there's a new coach who probably doesn't fancy you too much, and that's why eventually he's had to leave France and go to Turkey. Bada is back with us now. Bada, I was talking about Henry Onyekuru and the fact that seems to be playing very well in Turkey compared to what he did in France with AS Monaco. Is it that the Turkish Super League is his level, or is there any other reason for this scenario?
I think he's just more comfortable out there. I think he is more at home, let's put it that way. I was saying, if you looked at his social media posts, particularly Instagram, you'll find that on an average, when he posts in the colors of Galatasaray, he gets in multiples of thousands of comments. Turkish fans are super, super passionate people who will go all out, supporting you, just giving you all of the needed backup that a player needs to thrive on. It's a lot more comfortable, if I may, to play in that league, because the scrutiny is less, the pressure is less, and maybe again, without any disrespect for the Turkish league, in terms of quality, not quite at the same level with the Premier League where he, didn't have it with Everton. But that was early on. He's still, quite young. Let's not forget. But certain players just find their home in certain places. And for him, it does look like it's Gala. But then, like I said, the support, I read through the comments and I see, how the Turkish fans are just showering encomiums on him. That alone can lift a player who's struggling for identity or confidence. When you have, not just a couple hundred fans, thousands of fans, that makes a world of difference. So he's got into a place where he's being counted on, where the management sees him as a key part of the plan, where the fans adore him, and he's enjoying his football. And I mean, we just hope and pray that that continues to be the case in the long term, or on the long term, or for the long term for Henry Onyekuru.
Yes, good one. Something different about this loan is that there's an option to buy at the end of it all. So it's looking like Henry Onyekuru might finally get a home in the summer. All right, then that's it for Henry Onyekuru. Let's go to England and talk about the English Premier League, and let's just give you a confirmation of all the results first of all before we get Bada to analyze some of the results. Let's start off, of course, the big match on the night was Manchester United thrashing and absolutely demolishing Southampton by 9-0. Of course, that's a record win in English Premier League history. There were other games as well too involving Arsenal and Wolves. Ended 2-1 in favor of Wolves, and Arsenal went from being in control of that game to losing it and losing two men in the process. Sheffield United got their third win of the season, was against West Brom, relegation 6 points, you want to call that kind of matchup. It was Billy Sharp once again, the legend, scoring the game winner. United and Southampton ended 9-0. Yes, so mistake, 9-0. Newcastle United, of course, started so well, very well. As a matter of fact, against Crystal Palace, Georgia Shelby giving them the lead very early on in the game, but they could not hold on because Crystal Palace came on strong to take all 3 points. All right, Bada, let's talk about the big results of the night. Southampton capitulating against Manchester United. Of course, the early red card for the young star played a major role in the outcome of this game. But still, of course, I sympathize with Ralph as well too by that, because a lot of injuries, suspensions, the team was decimated. But surely it can't be right that they keep capitulating like this in the face of adversity. We saw the same thing happen just in 2019 against Leicester City. Same scoreline. Couldn't offer any kind of help from the dugouts.
I wouldn't be overly critical of this Austrian manager who's done phenomenally well for Southampton so far, it must be said. These things can happen. Unfortunately, it's happened to them twice in 2 years. The truth of the matter is that last night, like you said, their arms were kind of tied going into the game already based on suspensions and injuries. Key players were missing, and so he had to field a lot of youngsters, and one of them got a so early. You could see the lack of experience on display. He just planted his studs down McTominay's thighs so early in the game. I mean, it was in the United half. It wasn't like the guy was going to score a goal at the other end.
Exactly.
It was just inexperience in full glare. So at that point, the game plan was thrown out of the window. And, for a United team themselves who were bouncing back from a shock defeat against Sheffield, they smelled blood and went for it. But having said that, I thought Southampton could have defended better. Yep. Conceding 9 goals in a professional league match is just very inexcusable. But I can understand the circumstances. And let's not forget that this is a Southampton team that has done, up until yesterday, creditably well this season, playing some good football, getting some fantastic results in the reverse fixture. They almost beat United. They were leading 2-0 at the halftime before United struck back in the second half to score 3 goals. So it was just a bad day or bad night at the office for Southampton. And their case wasn't helped, obviously, by the first sending off. There was a second one towards the end of the game as well. But the bigger problem was the key players that were missing. The squad doesn't have that strength in depth.
Yeah.
They are not City, they are not United or Liverpool. But even those big sides struggle when key personnel are not playing. You have very key players like the centre half, who's drawn a lot of comparison.
Yeah, Vestergaard.
Vestergaard, yeah, who's been a major part of their positive run in the season. He's been missing. Theo Walcott as well, coming with his bag of experience. He was missing yesterday. So certain key players all over the park were missing. And, when you throw the youngsters at the deep end against a team, baying for blood like Manchester United, it was always going to be a difficult night, but no one would have seen the 9-0. I didn't see it. I'm sure Ralph wouldn't have thought that that kind of thunder could strike a second time in 2 seasons. But it was such a humiliating night for Southampton. And let's hope that it doesn't damage their confidence too much and they can pick up.
Embarrassing, humiliating, you can describe it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then that's it for Southampton. Cecilia, let's move on to Arsenal.
Okay,
Arsenal,
2 goes down, 2 men down. Yeah.
2 red cards, but they didn't capitulate like Southampton.
Because they're Arsenal, and because you have some other big players that were able to step up. But then, the question we're going to ask you will have to deal with the cards that were, given out. I mean, there's so much argument concerning the fact of David Luiz. He didn't really touch the striker and all that, and then the VAR said that's a sending off offense. What do you make of that decision?
I thought it was harsh. It was a double whammy for Arsenal to concede a penalty on the stroke of a halftime and then to get a man sent off rather. I've looked at the replay a few times. I think there might have been minimal contact, but I didn't think that it was deliberate because if you saw David Luiz running back, he had his eyes on the ball. He was trying to get round the player maybe, but the player's knee. It wasn't David Luiz making a movement, to impede the player. It was the player running away, and his heel coming up to hit David Luiz, and then he tripped up, and a penalty was given. So if you are given a penalty for that kind of incident, then you've got to just give the player a yellow card. Yep. Keep the Arsenal team intact, but to give David Luiz a red card and to award a penalty just totally destroyed Arsenal. And like Tayo quite rightly said, up until that point, Arsenal should have been at least 2-3 goals up. With a flurry of chances they created, Saka actually scored a goal that was ruled off for offside and hit the post as well. So that was a massive turning point in the context of the game, and Arsenal just didn't quite recover after that. They defended well, didn't actually give Southampton a lot of chances, but Yao Moutinho went on and scored a worldie. I mean, you can't legislate against that. That's a worthy winner of any game in any competition. And Arsenal just couldn't muster a response to get an equalizer. And I thought generally, like Arteta said, they did well in not conceding even more goals because they defended well and reduced Wolves to a very few opportunities, especially after Bernardo got sent off for a stupid mistake. Touched the ball with his hand outside of the box, even though you could argue that the flight of the ball deceived him, but at this level, a goalkeeper of his reputation or repute shouldn't be doing that.
Okay, interesting. Arsenal, where do they go from here? What's something we're expecting them to actually build on the success they've had over time? But then if you take a look at Arteta, since he took over, Arsenal have actually had 9 red cards, and David Luiz, accounts for most of the cards. Is there a level of indiscipline, or maybe they are just careless? Okay, I think we cannot reach Bada now, so we'll just continue with the program.
With the second word, which is carelessness. I don't know. Hello. I was saying that carelessness, more carelessness than recklessness or indiscipline. I think that. I think that most of those red cards, which, by the way, is more than double what any other side in the Premier League has gotten in the time under review, which is December 2019 to till date. It's not a reflection of the discipline levels within the Arsenal team. I think they're just careless, sloppy sometimes. And David Luiz, 3 of those, got only 1 while at Chelsea. So definitely an area Arteta needs to look into. But if you look at the 2 red cards yesterday, for instance, was any of them out of an act of indiscipline? I don't think so. Leno's, more grievous in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, but you could also argue it was a wet night. It was raining. The ball took a wicked bounce as he rushed out to close Adama Traore down and prevent the counter. But overall, I thought that the first one was very harsh. The second one was deserved. And the red card played a huge part in how.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at the games for today, starting with the game between Burnley and Manchester City. You also have Fulham and Leicester City. Leeds United and Everton will be in action, Aston Villa and West Ham. And, of course, you have Liverpool and Brighton. For Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp has been talking about, the new signings, just expecting that these guys will just come in and, help them with their defensive issues and all that. But let's take a look at it. Let's listen to Jurgen Klopp. We'll come back. I will get a reaction from Bada on the games for today.
And when I saw Ben, it was really interesting. It's obviously he plays for Preston Championship, gives him, shows that he's a very competitive player. So he knows how it is to play a lot of games and don't train a lot, play more than you train pretty much. We watched him in different games, obviously, and then we saw he's a really good footballer and is. A smart football player. As a young player, you are again in this situation. So but he never lost the quality, of course not, and he's still a talent, but proved already a lot of things. And now we see that when he comes here in a really stable team, how he's doing a lot of things really good, that it would help him, and he can help then us.
All right, that's a Jurgen Klopp there talking about the new signings, Ben Davies and Kabak, what they're going to bring in. But what do you think? I mean, Liverpool, Brighton tonight, just in 30 seconds, if you can wrap it up for us.
Tricky one. Liverpool are back to winning ways and they are playing some semblance of good football, but Brighton is tricky. They play very, very good. They just beat Tottenham. The confidence is high. The quality of their play is very impressive. Right. So Liverpool will have to bring their A game to win. But Jurgen Klopp's hands are tied. His centre halves have been, decimated by injury. He's brought in these youngsters. Let's hope that the fact that they are specialist central defenders will mean better quality in that department over playing Henderson and other midfielders like Fabinho as well in those positions. But I expect Liverpool to win. I expect that they will make it, but it'll be a very difficult night for them.
Okay, difficult night it will be for them. Thank you so much for taking our time to join us again this morning.
Thanks, boys.
All right. After this break, we'll be listening to what's happening. We'll be talking about what's happening in the Principals Cup and, of course, the Nigeria Professional Football League.
Test asset, the greatest tool to bring the subconscious nature or mind of an average Nigerian youth. It's very important that you are bringing this back to life. Very, very important. It will solve a lot of problems. It will solve idleness. It will solve youth employment. It will give a lot of opportunities for people to display their skills and talents. I am a living testimony. One of the greatest things that the federal government organized the most were Headmasters' Cup and Principals' Cup. It will go around every corner.
You agree with me that a few years ago, about a decade and a half or thereabout ago, the Principals' Cup and the Headmasters' Cup were both dead, in the words of the Honorable Minister, Mr. Sondidari. And today we have decided to revive it and get life back into our sporting activities and get us back to the glory days. It's a partnership between the public and the private sector where we want to ensure that we make grassroots sport development what it should be. We want to redefine the status quo.
Right, it's all about redefining sport and also ensuring that you're not just focusing on football, but also other sporting activities. Other sports will definitely be part of the Principal's Cup, and that's what the ministry had said, and that's why Oni of Ife is really happy with what they've decided to do with the Principal's Cup. Tayo?
All right, then,
okay.
Let's quickly wrap. We, of course, the show is about to round off, but before then, let's take a look at match day 8 of the Nigerian Professional Football League, games that will go down starting from today. The big one, the one I'm looking forward to watching the most, is between Rangers International and Dakar FC. That game will be shown on NPFL TV. There's also Adamawa United taking on Akwa United, Kwara United versus Lobby Stars. Wicked Warriors will take on MFM. MFM just managed to get a point in the last home game. Perhaps they can get all 3 away from home. Elsewhere is the Plateau United taking on Warri Wolves, Kano Pillars versus Jigawa Golden Stars, Abia Warriors. The team, we've got to keep an eye on that one. If they don't get a win against Sunshine, perhaps we will get something definitive on the
the
future.
ultimatum he was given. He didn't lose any of those games. Draw. So let's see.
So let's see what happens after this game,
one.
Against Sunshine Stars. Nasri United, surprise team of the season so far. Lost for the first time last time out. They're taking on Aimba. That's a big, tough matchup for Nasarawa United. So those are the games for you. Match day 9 of the Nigerian 8 of the Nigerian Professional Football League. Of course, I will come tomorrow. I'll be giving you all the results and doing a comprehensive review of those games. All right.
All right. Okay, before we look at the papers, Tayo, we just read some tweets, right?
Yes.
Okay, where do I start from? I mean, there's so many. Okay. Moses, how many? Moses, a lot of Moses here. Just one Moses. Okay, let me start with Moses. He says, I mean, he mentioned kind of, I don't know, he said Arsenal. They have to wake up. 2 red cards in one match is too much. There is need for discipline among the players. He went further to say that Man United demolishing Southampton yesterday is great, but I still think their loss to bottom-ridden Sheffield United at home overshadows the victory. Yeah, oh really? He's still gutted by that.
Yeah, it was a painful loss. I mean, that kind of, dented their title. Dreams and chase. But then they're back to winning ways and emphatically as well against Southampton. Still more tweets. Jonathan, oh, really? Okay, I'll just go ahead and read it. Arsenal were robbed by the referee. They will, okay, that's Arsenal were robbed by the referee. That's your first point. And you're also talking about the National Sports Festival as well. Noble Flyer Man, we've got your message as well. The new rules is destroying the game, but at least VAR decision was consistent for Arsenal. Southampton games, also, Cecilia, I said yesterday, we will demolish Southampton, so you were spot on. Noble Flyer Man, thanks for watching. Always, Gerald, you're talking as well. You're saying you don't see Arsenal making it into the top 4 this season because they're very inconsistent. But to be fair to them, they were on a good run before the draw against United.
And then this loss, down with 2 men. So, I mean, okay, Gerard Ikuku says, he says that I don't see Arsenal making it to. Okay, he went for that to say that he said, Theatre of Dreams, I mean, he's known as one of the history maker and all that. He's a Manchester United fan, obviously. That's why he's telling us. Dr. Kenen says, I'm absolutely gutted. Why are referees absolved of responsibility for their decisions? I feel there should be consequences for bad decisions. On David's red card, it was warming. I mean, it was a warming. How do you red card a player for making no contact with the striker? This one hurts. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it hurts. And Gian, okay, Man United hits 9 past the Saints without Paul Pogba. This means Pogba is dispensable at United at the moment. And Dari Kutsi says the 20th National Sport Festival should go ahead as planned. I believe the athletes would adhere to the COVID-19 guidelines, but put in place by PTF and NCDC. Okay, let's quickly take a look at the paper side.
Yeah, before we go. Yep.
Sporting Sun, I'll start with that one. Sporting Sun, okay, yeah, Bukayo Saka confesses, says, I'm disappointed. I disappointed my dad for snubbing Nigeria. Okay, that's interesting, right? Anthony Joshua says Tyson Fury will see hell. Okay, this is Tayo, we're waiting for. I mean, once it's confirmed, these are all talks and talks and talks.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for entertainment. Let them keep building up the fights. So whenever it's signed, we all can tune in.
Neymar sets to pen new 4-year deal for PSG. So it simply means he's not going anywhere.
That's what it looks
like. And of course, you still have that draw by the Tigers and all that drawing USA, France, and Japan.
Why?
I don't know why. After a long while, we're going to the Olympics, and the next thing you're putting USA, Nigeria, France. Come on now. That's not even work. Yes, Japan here, we know we can deal with them. France, yeah, maybe, but USA.
Cecilia, the Tigers are the least ranked side in that Group B.
We know that.
I see what you mean by, okay, perhaps we can take out Japan. But France and USA, it's going to be a very, very tough one indeed. Let's go to Complete Sports. That's our last review. Of course, Henry Onyekuru is on the front page as well. He's very happy to score again for Galatasaray. He's also another Super Eagles player in the news. Kelechi Iheanacho. Rogers passes vote of no confidence on this under 17 World Cup winner. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, it's a good one. I mean,
it's a vote of no confidence. It's not a good one.
Okay, vote of no. Okay, I didn't hear the no confidence. And the last one, Josh Maja?
Josh Maja is a very good finisher. That's according to the coach of Fulham, Scott Parker.
Is Tolu watching or is he listening?
Yeah, we'll see about the finishing when he starts to play for Fulham. All right, then. Okay, there's another Nigerian who's been very good this season. Murphy is his name, plays for Lorient in the French league. It says it would be great to play for the Super Eagles. PSG destroyer sees Okocha, Martins, Kanu as inspiration.
Okay, be consistent and then you get a call-up. That's all it takes, right?
Eventually, if he carries on with this form, he will get a call-up as soon.
Easy as that. All right, we need to get out of the studio. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Do have a great day.
I am Tayo Salam. See you again tomorrow.